Ola just announced some amazing products during their Mega Independence Day event, from their electric motorcycles to India's first AI chip. And we're not going to talk about everything in this video, but I'll try to catch you guys up on the biggest announcements. So first of all, Ola showcased their made in India 4680 lithium-ion cell, which they've named BharatCell. And according to the company, this BharatCell offers 5x more energy, 1.5x faster charging, and 10% longer range compared to the commonly used 2170 lithium-ion cells. Starting in April of 2026, every Ola EV is going to be coming with these Bodhi cells instead of 2170 lithium-ion cells. And talking about EVs, this is what a lot of people were waiting for. They're electric motorcycles. And Ola didn't disappoint here. They launched their Roadster series, which comes in 3 different models. So first up, we have their most premium electric motorcycle, the Roadster Pro. It comes in 2 variants, the 8 kilowatt-hour variant and the 16 kilowatt-hour variant, priced at 2 lakh rupees and 2.5 lakh rupees respectively. And the top variant here has a top speed of 194 kilometers per hour and a range of 579 kilometers on a single charge. Ola is planning to start delivering these motorcycles as early as January of 2026. And then we also have the Roadster, just the standard Roadster, which comes in 3 variants priced between 1.05 lakh rupees and 1.4 lakh rupees. The top variant offers a top speed of 126 kilometers per hour and a range of 248 kilometers per charge. And then finally, we have the most affordable Roadster model, the Roadster X, which has a starting price of 75,000 rupees for their 2.5 kilowatt-hour variant. Now, the top model for the Roadster X offers a top speed of 124 kilometers per hour and a range of 200 kilometers. And both the Roadster and Roadster X deliveries are expected to start in January of 2025. That's just 5 months from now. Now, apart from EVs, Bhavish's AI venture Krutrim wants to launch India's first AI chip, which is being called Bodhi 1, and it's expected to launch by 2026. And the company has already partnered with chip designing company ARM, this is an industry behemoth, to make this vision possible. Now, apart from this, some of you might remember last week how we talked about Ola planning to get into quick commerce by launching something called dark stores as a service. And at the time, we didn't really have a lot of details. We had no idea what it would look like, but now we know quite a bit about this. So Bhavish is basically planning on disrupting India's entire logistics space by fully automating the warehouses and dark stores that are operated by quick commerce companies. So see this? This container is a fully automated dark store, and Ola wants to make these dark stores in their factories and sell them to anybody who wants to build a quick commerce business. Now, this is still just a prototype, but Bhavish claims that once this is fully developed, these dark stores will operate entirely automatically, collecting and packaging orders for deliveries in just 60 seconds. So Bhavish definitely doesn't disappoint when it comes to bold ideas, but as for their success, well, we're just gonna have to wait and see. Now, moving on to another EV company here, Ather Energy has raised $71 million in their latest round, becoming India's 4th unicorn of 2024, valuing them at $1.3 billion. And this could very well be the final funding round before they go public. The company hasn't confirmed their plans yet, but according to multiple news reports, Ather is expected to go public sometime in the second half of 2024. And earlier this year in June, Ather had converted into a public limited company, which is something that companies usually do just before they file their IPOs. And of course, after the successful IPO of Ola Electric, Ather might want to be speeding things up now and taking advantage of favorable market conditions. All right, next up in the news, Sarvam AI has just launched India's first open source foundational Indian language model called Sarvam 2B. So what exactly does that mean? Well, Sarvam 2B is trained on a massive data set of 4 trillion tokens, and 2 trillion tokens of these are Indic tokens, covering 10 different Indian languages. And the early results here have been really impressive. According to the company, Sarvam 2B excels in text-based tasks like translation, summarization, and even understanding colloquial phrases in Indic languages. And it seems to be outperforming GPT-4o in both accuracy and speed, while coming pretty close to Google's Gemma 2.9b and Meta's Llama 3.18b models. But Sarvam 2B isn't the only thing that this company has rolled out. They also launched an audio language model called Shuka, which is designed to understand Indic audio, which opens up a lot of possibilities for voice-based applications. And they built a suite of enterprise products on top of these models called Sarvam Voice Agents. These agents can be deployed over the phone and WhatsApp, making them super useful for service centers and sales teams. And companies have already started using Sarvam's voice agents. A startup called Srimandir is using Sarvam's voice agents to accept payments, and so far they've processed over 27,000 transactions. And this could really be an open AI moment for India's Indic language models. But you might be wondering, what about Krutrim? Well, Krutrim also claims that they've built a foundational model, but here's the big difference. Krutrim's model isn't open source, unlike Sarvam's. All right, next up in the news, not sure if you recall, there was this company at one point called Byju. Well, according to this INC42 article, Byju is planning on shutting down nearly half of their 250 tuition centers. They've already sent notices to the heads of their tuition centers to terminate lease contracts for these centers, and this is expected to result in the closure of 120 of Byju's tuition centers, and a majority of these centers are expected to be closed by the end of August. All right, next up in the news, Oyo is in a unique situation. So the company just posted their FY24 financials, and they were better than expected. They posted their very first annual profit of 229 crore rupees in FY24, and just a couple of months back, Ritesh Agarwal claimed that Oyo would be closing FY24 with just 100 crore rupees in profit, so the number has gone up here. But while the company is finally profitable, it's facing a different challenge. Their revenue for FY24 decreased slightly to 5,389 crore rupees. And according to multiple news reports, the company has also raised 1,457 crore rupees, the majority of which came out of Ritesh Agarwal's pocket. Another issue is their valuation, which has been declining from its peak in 2019. According to multiple reports, Oyo's valuation has fallen to just $2.4 billion, down from $10 billion in 2019. But that's not all, because since SEBI rejected Oyo's IPO way back in December of 2022 and asked them to refile their DRHP, Oyo has withdrawn their IPO papers for the second time now. Now, there were some talks about Oyo taking the private route for filing their IPO, but so far there haven't been any updates on this. All right, next up in the news, let's talk about Swiggy's latest move to increase their revenue. So according to this ET report, Swiggy is now charging a commission from their restaurant partners in non-metro cities on the entire gross order value. So gross order value includes additional charges like GST and packaging fees, along with the value of the food items ordered from the restaurant. And up until now, Swiggy's restaurant partners in non-metro cities were only paying a commission on the net value of the order, excluding additional charges like GST and packaging fees. The TLDR version of this is that Swiggy's restaurant partners, of which there are 1,000 who are going to be affected by this, will have to pay higher commissions. And it seems like this is something that Swiggy is doing ahead of their IPO. They're trying to strengthen their financials here. All right, now let's move into the funding news segment for today's video. So this week, Indian startups raised a total of $111 million, which is slightly less than last week's $120 million. And you can see here that this is below the trend line, which means that funding for the last 2 weeks has been below average. Also, just want to make one thing clear, that we haven't included Oyo's funding round in this segment because the news hasn't actually been fully confirmed yet, but we probably will include it later on once it is confirmed. So with that out of the way, let's take a look at some of the companies that have raised funds this week. And the first company, of course, that we want to talk about is Ather. They raised a majority of the funds this week to become India's fourth unicorn. And we've already talked about them raising funds to become the fourth unicorn of 2024. So next up, we have Mumbai-based home and personal care brand Biko selling eco-friendly products, and they raised $10 million in their pre-series B round. After that, we have Bengaluru-based EV charging station network builder Kazam, and they raised $8 million in their Series A. Following that, we have Bengaluru-based biotech startup 4Base Care. They're developing personalized cancer treatment solutions using next-generation sequencing, and they raised $6 million in their Series A round. Next, we have Bengaluru-based cross-border payment solutions provider Skydo, and they're helping freelancers and small business owners in India to accept payments from overseas, and they've raised $5 million in their pre-Series A round. And then finally, we have Kochi-based IROV, a marine robotics startup that's making underwater drones used to inspect bridges, dams, and ports, and they've raised $1.2 million in their pre-Series A round. Now, before I let you guys go, do check out the video that we recently made where we answer the question, is Unacademy actually on the decline? I think you guys will really enjoy it, and I will catch you in the next one.